So we're back to Vault of the Wardens. It got bugged out last time where the door didn't open after I killed the first boss. Had that happen during actual runs too. This is not a new bug. It's surprising this to absolutely nobody. The door didn't open. Alright, well, we're gonna redo this. Take 2, Vault of the Wardens. Alright, so I think that Vault of the Wardens, honestly, I didn't like the design of the dungeon because I thought that the trash was poorly designed. And I thought the bosses were decent, but I just thought that the trash was pretty poorly designed. Especially in this first half. And then the first boss, not good. So the first pull that you would ever do in this key was like, you would run through here, right? And you would get these mobs all stacked up on top of this. On top of this pack. And you have these demon hunters here that just are absolute fiends. And they do like a metamorphosis. Okay, so they do this metamorphosis thing. And it increases their damage dealt by 50%. And they cast this metamorphosis at 50% health. And they're just murdering your tank all the while you have to get these infestor kicks. And so this pull, lost a lot of runs to this pull. However, this isn't even the hardest part of the key. This is the hardest part of the key, which is a mini boss, Glaviana, and at 50% HP, she casts Metamorphosis, and she does 50% increased damage too. But she doesn't just do 50% increased damage to the tank. She beats up fucking everybody, and she starts pulsing. I want to say she starts pulsing AoE here in a second. Or maybe she actually just kills your tank with that dash. I wanted to say she started pulsing AoE at some point, but that looks like I just may have made that up. No longer mailing me. Okay, so maybe she didn't pulse AoE. Oh, or maybe she can't pulse AoE because I'm a tank. But there was definitely some AoE damage that would happen on this fight, and she would just bully your tank, and she would wipe your group pretty consistently. Now we have one of, again, a very common trend in these Legion dungeons. We have mobs that don't do anything. These Belchers. These Belchers owned. I was a big fan of these. And so you would grab every Belcher. 100% of the Belchers must get pulled. All Belchers must die. None of them will live. They give way too much count for not doing jack shit. And so you're grabbing all the Belchers, and you're just seed spamming. Living bombs spamming. Star falling. Spinning crane kicking. What are other, like, really... you were dropping your spaceship trinket. You were doing all of the AoE. I-beaming. 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 I-beaming again. I-beaming once more. One more time. You're just pressing all of your AoE buttons. And this is... Press all the AoE buttons. All of them must die. Spaceship trinket. Yeah, exactly. Spaceship trinket. And so every Belcher must get pulled and every Belcher must die. And now we reach a part of the key where this pull is not doable. We have this issue a lot where it's mobs don't do anything. This pull is not doable. And we are here again. This pull, not doable. Always stealth. If you accidentally pull it, you die, we will mass res you. Do not pull. And now you have a 40-second RP on this. So just out of principle alone, we play these two mobs. Not because we really want to, because we may just as well play them. We're already standing here kind of thing, waiting for 40 seconds. Very long RPs weren't uncommon at this time either, where you're just sitting there like waiting for RP to start. Happened on Rockmora, happens on this boss. I don't remember, maybe there were probably other dungeons that it happened on too that I'm... There's a lot of RP in some of these dungeons that has gone away with time. Still there sometimes, but has gone away mostly. So now you have the first boss this instance, and he pretty tough. He did an insane amount of damage to your tank with these dark strikes. So there was a lot of mobs that did shadow damage melees. Maybe not necessarily in this. Okay, there were a lot of mobs in this dungeon that did shadow damage melees, but just in this expansion as a whole, there were a lot of mobs that did shadow damage melees. I don't know why. Absolutely horrible design. Every tank right now would die to that. So one thing you see is we have this chain that he's thrown out. He's thrown his glaives out. And now you have this chain that's moving around the room. if this chain touches you, you die. There's no like really getting around it. You just die. So you have to move the boss around the room all the while you're tanking him like this. On top of that, you may see this Fel Fury that's out here casting this Scorch ability. You need to make sure that that ability never goes off. It can't be kicked. And you're also trying to bait this fire in specific spots. I'm doing a really poor job of it in this run, but like you would intentionally try to bait the fire like around this center object. And if you closed off a path, if you accidentally closed off your path through, it was just a wipe. You couldn't make it through the fire. It was just like something that you couldn't do. And so now the boss is spawning these Fel Fury ads every so often. And so you need to make sure that you're killing them and being able to deal with them. And now the boss, you see I pushed him. So he goes into different metamorphosis states depending on how you're pushing him. And now he's in this another metamorphosis state where his damage delta is increased by 25%. And now, holy fuck, I'm having PTSD. He does this, I forgot about this laser. I actually forgot about this hatred laser. Jesus. Okay, so you see that laser that was cast on you? You had, let's say, 5 frames to get out of that laser. And if it ever ticked on you, you die. And now he does this Furious Blast cast. So he would dash to a random target and do that Furious Blast cast. And if it goes off, your whole group wipes. And there's not really much you can do about it. Okay, so Hatred's coming out again. Like I said, you have a few frames to be able to get out of it before it goes on you. And so that laser would insta-one-shot you. And it would also dissect the room. And sometimes you could just get cut off by the chain plus that laser. And so then, again, as I said earlier, every so often he casts his Furious Gaze or Furious Blast. He dashes to you. And so me, as a Moonkin, like the tank was always responsible for kicking the Furious Blast cast. And the range were always responsible for kicking the ads that were up. And so like me as a Moonkin, he sometimes would dash like across the laser or across the room or whatever. And the tank would have no real way, even though Blood DK was a tank, and they do have a ranged kick, there's no real way for the DK tank to get to it. So they would have to they would have to shell, run through the fucking chain, pray to God that their shell didn't get broken, because if they got the chain dot on them, they would just die to the dot, but shell prevented the application of the dot. And so melee weren't really playable. Alright, so now we got a mini boss to deal with. And you always pick left side or right side. I always pick left side. I don't know why. And then some other part of your group would pick the right side, right? And they would grab all of these imps. In most other scenarios, these imps wouldn't give count. However, this was an infinite count farm in Legion. You could sit here and have Mama give you infinite imps. You need a very specific amount of count coming into this part of the instance. I want to say it was like 80%, but I don't remember for sure. Maybe it was... There was a very specific amount amount of trash that you needed once Mama died. So you would intentionally wait sometimes for imp waves, but you would make sure that you got all of them. So then you kill her, and she's gonna spawn the elevator. The very, very buggy elevator. Very buggy elevator. This elevator is just the most desynced thing ever. And you could save... Funny thing about this is also, if this elevator is in a good position, you could save 50 seconds. Maybe a little bit less. Okay, maybe it was actually 50 seconds. You could save 50 seconds here if your elevator is in a good cycle and you would just like slam an avalanche potion. But you can still clip through this elevator. Let me show you I can show you how to clip through it. Give me 1 second. So like, say you're flapping against the wall. Oh, did they remove clipping from this? Maybe they removed clipping from it. Like if the elevator was coming up, you could clip through the wall. I'm gonna try one more time. Obviously you could do that. That's weird. Oh, okay, maybe it'll work on the second one. Maybe it doesn't work on the top. 1 second. Let's see. But you could clip through this wall on this elevator. And so now you're like slowly floating down. So you have to use the movement ability to be able to get, like, not fall in the hole. Yeah, I clipped through while the elevator's still going, but... Alright, so now we have Inquisitor, who you never tanked him here. Did you pull packs of dogs before you pulled Inquisitor? I want to say the answer is probably no. So you would... Your whole entire party would stand over here. I want to say your whole entire party would stand over here. But maybe you'd stand where he spawns? It was where he spawns? Okay. So I'm getting confirmation. No way you run that far? I want to say there was a reason you ran that far, though. Let's pull it over here. So you would certainly tank him in one of the cubbies. And there's a very specific reason you tank him in one of the cubbies, but that's... I'm trying to figure out, like, whether you tank him far side or not. So you would tank him here, right? And he's doing the Sap Soul ability. And so his Sap Soul ability, honestly, it was not that bad. It would make the next ability you use unusable. And I mean, a lot of classes have just like filler abilities that you use there. It was some abilities were bugged, kind of beans. Oh my god, my eyeball! I spawned the eyeball inside of the wall. Okay, so we've missed something, but there's an eyeball here, and it'll come to us eventually. So there are these eyeballs that I've foolishly placed somewhere that I didn't mean to. Okay, so here's one of them, right? And so you see him channeling on me, you face away from the eyeball, and you don't get disoriented. But sometimes, as you can see, the eyeballs would go into the wall, and so you get a bunch of these. But you would stack them up, right? And you'd have them spawning like really far from you, and you would be kind of chill. You just like line. I mean, I have one in the fucking wall here where it didn't be, but all right. And so now you're facing the boss, right? And he teleports, and he's gone later. And so at this point, you're grabbing the dogs while you're fighting the boss. There was, holy fuck, there was RNG on this boss. Maybe there was no way you pulled the boss that far. No. You pulled the boss that far because the platforms you wanted it, the platforms that you really cared about were on this side. And the ads were RNG, but they weren't RNG in the way you'd expect. They were RNG because they were on... Oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure you look at the eyeballs and don't look away from them. Oh, yes, that's what it was. Is you look at them that way. But it wasn't RNG in the way you'd expect. It was RNG on a daily lockout. On a daily fucking lockout. And so you would zone into this dungeon and you'd be like, what's the rotation for Inquisitor today? And you really wanted those lingering corruption ads. The lingering corruption ads I remember being very, very good. But you would never know the lockout. And so now you got lingering corruption. What is this one? There was one set that was awful. Was it these people that were awful? Holy shit, it was these people. This throw dynamite ability was unplayable. It was unplayably bad. He would one-shot you with his throw dynamite ability. Holy fuck, I haven't... Yep, the Felguards were the ones that you could not play. Alright. And so, now you're done with the boss, and you have, innocently enough, too many bosses to fight, right? You don't have to fight both of them. You only have to fight one of them. And they open up a door, right? And they open up a door, and then you can cross between the two next bosses that you have to deal with. And so you may think, oh, okay, these mini bosses are evenly matched. And you thought wrong. And you're fucking wrong. This guy, unplayable. And the trend continues. This guy had a Fel Meteor. I'm going to pull him just to show you. This guy had a Fel Meteor, and it one-shot. And it one-shot everybody. There was no living. There's nothing you could do. And he also summoned these Grim Guards. These Grim Guards didn't really do anything from what I remember. But that Meteor was just the most fucking damage. Yep, the old one-shot train. There's no recovery. And so you would never pull him. And so you look at this mini-boss and you say, oh wow, that's weird that she has 4 defilers next to her. And you say, oh, that's weird that she has 4 defilers next to her. Those probably don't give count, right? It's probably just her that gives count, because that's how most mini-bosses work that have ads. No, these defilers give count. And so that's another reason that you would never pull that guy. Is because this guy would give you 1 mob's worth of count, and this guy would give you the most count. It was a soaking ability, but it would wipe your whole group with a soak. And so she's just a dual wielder that owns you, and there are these dogs that have this drain. Oh, okay, so you have to be dispelled. I don't remember this. And so you would just pull all of the dogs that are near her into her as well, and you would just AoE this all down. She beat up your fucking tank, but this was also when tanks were immortal. This was when tanks were literally just immortal gods, and so even though she's dual wielding and smoking the shit out of them, they're living. It doesn't really matter. And you'd pull all the dogs with her too. Every tank. Okay, so chat saying Legion Blood Decay, Pepe laugh. Every tank was just ungodly tanky. All right, Glazer. Really hard fight. It wasn't hard because it was bad. It was just hard. It was actually kind of a cool fight, but there were some elements of it that weren't great. I don't know if do you have to push? He pushes with time, I think. Okay, so he starts off and he spawns these little blue orbs. Seems innocent enough, right? They're bouncing around the room, and they're kind of going like reasonably slow. So it's not too big of a deal. Oh my god. So they're going like reasonably slow. It's not too big of a deal. If they hit the, notably look at this. If they hit the boss, they despawn, right? And he also has an intermission where you have to move these owl mirrors. And you have to kill this lens. And if you didn't kill the lens in time, then it would just block. It would just block and it's just blocking, you wouldn't be able to deal with it. I swear to god, if did I get an incompletable one? Hold on. Did I fuck this up? Or did I actually get one of the... Very fucking cool. Maybe I fucked this up? Hold on, let's look. There's a chance I messed this up. No? Okay, so this boss is also bugged, and sometimes you would get this set right here, where this is incompletable, and you wouldn't be able to do with it. Okay, you see these small purple orbs? That's what happens when you hit one of these big blue ones. And now you have fucking hurricane speed racer blue ones if you let them sit up long enough. One of the important things to know about this boss is if you just stack straight in his hitbox, these things can not hit you. So you would always just perma stack under the boss. Except you couldn't always be stacked underneath the boss because he would spawn these puddles underneath him. And so then you'd have to battle against the speed racers and deal with that. All the while you're hoping to god this boss doesn't bug on you and creates an unfixable thing of mirrors. And it looks like I may have another incompletable mirror set, but... So, I have 2 in a row incompletable mirror sets. This is a great game. This looks about right. And unless you're gonna make this mirror go this way, which is Anyways. So yeah. That was always a bug that was ever present. It was even present in the MDI. Oh god, was it global final? MDI global. Let's see if we can do some MDI hunting and see. It happened during one of the MDIs. And this was one of the MDIs after they okay, so this was after the controversy where it was like the remake fiasco. There was the remake fiasco, and then they implemented a rule that was stating if the dungeon is completable, they won't remake, right? And then right after that happens, this is like there was a Vault of the Wardens with Method PogChamp in it. This is the Vault of the Wardens right here. There was a Vault of the Wardens with Method PogChamp in it that it was just not doable.
PogChamp at all, which
okay. Ah, fuck.
probably means they're gonna use that rogue in sneak
Okay.
ways.
Okay, with the double casters, and they want to make sure that
Okay, so they already completed that. This is a replay. Look, this is it. This is what it was. It wasn't PogChamp that it happened to. It happened to Shells. This is what it was. And look at them. They're like sitting there looking at this mirror as it's just not working. Here it is. It was Shells that it happened to, not PogChamp. Okay, this makes way more sense now. Anyways, yeah, this bug was bad. Circling back, that bug was terrible. All right. Yeah, it did happen in the MDI. All right, so now we got Ash Golem, who, honestly, nothing really notable about this boss. Like, he had an increased damage taken phase. He had an increased damage taken phase. It was, when did you click these countermeasures? You click the countermeasures. I don't remember what it... There was a certain time that you click these countermeasures, but I don't remember what it was. I think it was basically on CD. Yeah, maybe you just clicked it on... No, you click it... Okay, you click it to make sure that these embers also got stunned. That's what it was. And so then the boss is on this brittle phase where it's stunned and taking increased damage taken. And then sometimes, yeah, people get slapped straight off the platform. And, yeah. Because the tornadoes that are thrown at you, they knock you. And it was not infrequent for people to just get launched. Alright, let's kill Ash Golem quickly. I mean, this fight was not, like, that notable. It was not a bad boss. It wasn't, like, a great boss. I'll take it. Like, it's one of those fights that... Nothing really notable about the fight as a whole. Now we have the last boss of this instance, Cordana, which... I mean, it's a pretty intricate fight. Yeah, certainly not bugged. Never bugs present on the fight. Oh, dude, this guy's an asshole. I forgot about this guy. People started skipping him at some point. He wasn't like that bad. But he would throw this cage at you, this cage, And if you didn't have enough ways to break out of the root, then you would just die, because this torment, like, you can see the cage is like pulsing AoE. It would just like kill anybody who's nearby and kill the person who's in the cage. So you had to have a way to get out of the cage. And so Resto Druid groups would Resto Druid groups wouldn't really be able to play him. Let's see if I can clip through the elevator again. I think I may have gotten it. Hold on. Let's see. Oh! Gaming! I still got it. Old man gets excited over fucking Legion tech that he still got. Alright. We never grabbed the light because we were balanced druid. But I'll grab it for this purposes. Alright, so there's these spiderlings here, right? You see them? You just throw the light on them. You jump down here and you kill them. They start fleeing whenever they get low, and that was pretty sus, because you can't DPS anything that's in the dark. Let me try to show you. So like I can't even target these mobs. Jesus. You can't DPS anything that's in the dark, so you have to have the light on them. So then whenever they would like start running away, it was pretty brutal. So sometimes you would throw the light, sometimes you would keep it on your character. Try mouse over. I can focus them, but I can't even interact with my focus. I suspect that's not there. I remember the Broodmothers not being really pulled that often, but I don't remember them being that bad. And so then you would jump down here, kill this Spirit of Vengeance with all of these spiderlings. And so you just pull all of this on top. You pull all the spiderlings on top of the Spirit of Vengeance. I don't remember what the Spirit of Vengeance did. I'm gonna be real with you. I think maybe you had to kill them to open up the door or something. Although that doesn't even make sense. I don't know why you killed the Spirit of Vengeances. It's been a very long time. Oh, they kicked your tank off the ledge. That's right. They would kick the nearest target, and they inevitably would always lob somebody off the ledge. This was the one that was annoying. This was the one that was always the most annoying. This Spirit of Vengeance right here, because you're fighting it with the Broodmother. And this one also controls the door opening. So you would focus this Spirit of Vengeance down, right, while this Broodmother is active still, and then you would start dragging this Broodmother around. The Broodmother just like did a suck ability, and I guess she can't suck me because I'm too high of a level. And then she'd also throw a barbed wire out. It wasn't too bad. Is there any way to get double light on this boss anymore? So for a long time, there used to be a way to get 2 lights on this encounter into this room, but I think that they at least tried to hotfix it. Okay. I don't know anymore. Yeah, so there used to be a way to get 2 lights through there, but there probably still is a way to do it even today, but I don't know what the tech is. All right, now Cordana, who them designing a boss fight where you have to have the boss illuminated to be able to DPS her was certainly a creative liberty that they took. It was one that was exercised, certainly. All right. So Cordana, she does this kick, and she knocks you again. Like I was talking about earlier, there are many tanks that got lobbed off of the ledge from this boss. So now you see this glaive that's like coming in and out. There is a grace period on the glaive in melee. It's actually pretty lenient. It's probably like 10 to 15 yards. But if you get hit by the glaive at all, if you get clipped by it, it will kill your whole entire group. Yeah. That's pretty much the long and short of it. It just kills your whole entire group if you get hit by it. I got hit by it during the MDI, and we wiped because of it. Happens. And So then you push the boss. And so then she steals your light, and you have this ad that you have to kill. And the ad has your light. And once the ad dies, then it drops the light. Now Cordana is teleporting around the room, doing these glaives. This is the part that I got hit by, is during this intermission. And so, like, she's running around doing these glaives, and the moment that you illuminate her, she comes out of her phase, right? And you normally just lob it at her. I missed, but you would normally just, like, lob it at her. Because she has, like, specific positions where she would teleport to. And, then she would come out of the phase, right? And now you have the light again. And so now you're doing phase 1 over again a little bit. What do these puddles do again? I remember them growing. Oh, I think maybe you have to soak them for them to shrink. Oh, they grow. Okay, so they grow if you don't soak them, and then they shrink if you soak them. Oh, you have to soak them with the light, rather. You have to be near them with the light. And so now you may have saw what I just saw, and that was the ads are spawn. There's these ads that are spawning, and you can't see them except for like a couple of frames early on. And so then you have to like know where they're going to be relatively and walk through the maze without the light. So I think it's like here. Yep. And so now you're vibing. And now you're in the last phase. I don't remember if anything specific happened in the last phase. Oh my god. Okay. There were these ads that spawned in the last phase, but you would burn the boss before they would do anything. No! Wait, come back!
Your death was inevitable.
Fuck. Alright, I'm gonna kill the boss. Yeah. I'm really good at imitating what happened 4 years ago at this point. She would also do the wall in the last phase? Yeah, and you had to have that ad dead. You had to have the ad dead, too, whenever she would do the wall, but I don't remember why exactly. Oh, cool, I got an achieve. Oh.
The traitor is defeated. Thank you.
Alright. So yeah, that was both the Wardens. Overall, I think that like the dungeon was designed poorly because of how the trash and the first boss were all implemented. And I think that it was like a very linear dungeon with a lot of bad overtuned stuff. I think that that is my take on Vault of the Wardens. I know it's like fairly well liked, but I genuinely thought that the first half of the dungeon was just like not good. And then it was also very bugged. This whole entire dungeon was very bugged. The bosses were okay, but like by design they were okay, but everything ended up being very buggy in this instance.